So there are some people that we've met that have been eating a raw vegan diet long term, anywhere
Yes.
between a few years to like 30 years.
Yes.
And some of them perform athletics. Most of them seem to be in endurance sports.
Yes.
And a lot of them eat up to 30 bananas a day.
Let's just look at it this way. As Bill Walcott beautifully says in his book, The Metabolic Typing Diet, don't feed lions leaves and don't feed giraffes meat. So what he's saying is if you put a lion on a giraffe's diet, you're just going to make a sick lion. And if you put a giraffe on a lion's diet, you'll just make a sick giraffe. So if someone can eat 30 bananas a day and have a healthy body and have a natural healthy sex drive and can think clearly and act rationally and is an example that you'd want to follow, I'd say they found the right diet for them.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to it. But to say, oh, that's my guru. Now if a mesomorphic body like me started eating 30 bananas a day, I'd be a sick guy in no time following a guru who's healthy. But if he's actually truly healthy, he should also be wise enough, or she should be wise enough to recognize those 30 bananas are killing me. Yet many of the so-called gurus actually impose their dietary ideas on their followers, and even though their followers are oftentimes getting sick, and I have many of them as patients, they're not paying attention to that, which means that they're not really as conscious as they should be, or they would realize that their ideas are imposing illness upon people, not health. So it's really not about is meat good or is meat bad, is bananas good or is bananas bad. The question is, what do you need to achieve well-being or balance in your body mind today, and what is the best source to get that from, which is always going to be free-range organic, minimal chemicals, and raised ethically and spiritually. So really, that's the answer that after 28 years of clinical practice I have found to be consistently reliable.
I like it. That's what the rah-rahs are all about right there.
And that's what Laird's truth means, right? What works.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people out there go vegan for ethical reasons, but you're saying your health should come first, because a lot of people don't want to kill an animal, even if it might sacrifice their own health. And
yeah, well, that's also a very, very short-sighted idea. First of all, as I was explaining to you guys earlier, solid research in agriculture, biodynamic agriculture, organic agriculture, and the science of agriculture shows that 85% of all the plants in the world have a functional relationship with the fungi in the soil, and the fungi, which excrete very powerful acids and dissolve minerals and feed those minerals in a liquid form to the plants so they can make their bodies out of them and create their biochemistry out of them, actually also eat the parasites that the fungi feed to them. So it's very well documented. You could look at the book The Living Soil by Lady Eve Balfour. She's got pictures right in there. And she ran one of the biggest experiments ever run for 21 years, comparing organic to commercial foods and all aspects related to it. And she showed beyond a shadow of a doubt, as has many others, such as Elaine Ingham, who's a famous soil scientist, and you can even see this now on microscopes and advanced technology, the fungi, which are called mycorrhiza, will actually set up a web of loops like a net that excrete powerful acids, and they will catch the very parasites that are known to attack that plant. They will then send fungi runners inside, eat the inside of that animal, and then eat the flesh of the animal and feed it right to the plant in trade for the sugar and the plant sap. So they have a symbiotic relationship. So all vegetarians at large are making a very, very false assumption that they're not eating animals. If you're eating plants, 85% of those plants are eating animals, and the research shows conclusively when you take the animal flesh out of their diets, as I described earlier, which has been tested by creating vegetarian compost and raising them in environments where they don't get access to the fungi or to the plant sources of animal nutrition, they develop very, very weak immune systems and cannot protect themselves against nature, which means they wouldn't survive in nature anyhow. So, first and foremost, we must remember that the concept of vegetarianism is really what I call a paper boat. It's often a concept that just describes that people don't have an actual understanding of how the soil works and how nature works. Everything that goes into the ground is eaten by everything else. That's just absolute fact. Second of all, eating animals that are raised inhumanely, I can't support either. But if we're, again, not eating in a way that gives us optimal biological and psychological function, then we're actually contributing to the downfall of humanity and the planet, because a sick person can't think straight and can't make good decisions, doesn't have enough energy to make change. The other thing is, we must remember that we are part of nature's cycle. For example, New Zealand is a country where the environment is very effective for raising sheep, is it not? You guys know that New Zealand's a big sheep country.
It is.
Okay, I have a question for you. If no wolf, no bear, or no human ever ate a sheep on the island of New Zealand, how long would it be before those sheep would multiply to the point they would just eat that place to death and nothing would be there but a desert, and the sheep themselves would die? Right? So you see, if you look at how nature works, there's a model there that's worked for eternity. So as long as we are conscious and we eat and live in accordance with the natural plan, then we're not doing anything against the principles of nature itself. And since nature itself is a product of the divine, if you believe in God, well, God created nature, and this is how God created it to work. So starving yourself and becoming a vegetarian that's got a bad attitude, whose sex drive is gone, whose mind isn't working, who's bitchy and snotty, argumentative, and picketing people that eat meat, is really just to exemplify that you don't understand the principles of diet and lifestyle at all, that you've got a disease of your own.
That's a good answer.
That's interesting.